Hi, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Robin Ross, certified birth doula, childbirth educator, and I am here today with Heather Dvorak, who is a IBCLC, and what that stands for is Internationally Board Certified Lactation Consultant. So IBCLCs are really at the top tier of lactation specialists, and Heather Dvorak, I have known for about a decade now. I know it makes us date ourselves. I highly recommend her knowledge and expertise in her field. So today what we're going to chat about, and she's going to give us more information on, is what is in breast milk and the benefits for mom and baby. So Heather, thank you again so much for joining us today. And I'm going to turn over this to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to share. This is actually one of my very favorite things to talk about. So when we think about mother's milk, we usually talk about the benefits specifically for a baby. And you may have heard things like it being the biological norm. Our bodies actually tailor make our breast milk specifically for what our baby's needs are. So through these little tiny bumps on your areola, they're called your Montgomery gland, your body takes in information from your baby to tell your body what your baby needs in terms of calories, fat, protein, water content, if they're fighting an illness, anything like that, and then adjust your milk to meet your baby's needs. We also know that breast milk decreases the risk of all kinds of different illnesses in infancy and beyond. So it lowers the risk of obesity, ear and respiratory infections, allergies, asthma. So those are some of the things in breast milk. But the other thing that is really important to note is the act of breastfeeding actually helps to develop our oral muscles. So it develops our dentition as well as our tongue and cheeks and lips for speech and solids and all of the things that we do with our mouth later. So there's really significant benefits for our baby when we breastfeed. And then there are also very significant benefits for mom. So the physical act of breastfeeding decreases our risk of postpartum bleeding by helping to contract our uterus. So it's preventing that postpartum hemorrhage. It decreases the risk of different cancers, including breast and cervical cancer. And it also helps to decrease the incidence of metabolic disorders, so type 2 diabetes, and postpartum depression and anxiety. So really wonderful things happen for us as mom, as well as for our baby when we breastfeed. I love to show people this image about what's in breast milk. I'm going to do a quick screen share so that you guys can see this really cool image. And this shows you all of the amazing stuff that's in breast milk. So I'm not sure if you guys can see this well, but it's a comparison between breast milk and formula. And you can see there's just a whole bunch of different active compounds in our breast milk that we don't even know how to recreate yet, because they're so unique and amazing. So that's kind of the basics of what's in breast milk, and then also what the benefits are to mom and baby from breastfeeding.
Awesome. And that is true. And nobody can deny it. You know, formula, yes. You know, fed is best. Absolutely. You got to feed your baby. And there are certain reasons why maybe a mom has a situation where she's not able to feed her baby, which is very few situations, and especially working with an IBCLC, her pediatrician, other specialists to really recognize what might be going on and help for that, and maybe even supplementing with breast milk, supplementing with formula. But again, really looking at the benefits of breast milk, as you pointed out, really does supersede. So I'm not sure if this is speaking out of line, but in my experience in working with families, and especially prenatally, is starting to look at what type of feeding situations they're wanting to encourage, whether they are really wanting to do breastfeeding, then it'd be contacting somebody like yourself and getting maybe even a prenatal plan together for post-birth, as well as a great breastfeeding class. And I know that's something that you're teaching to online for now, virtually. And I know there might be times for the in-person when that comes along, especially with the current situations. But really getting the support. It's really imperative to have that support in pregnancy about nursing goals and then after birth. So having the family support there, as really, as you pointed out, the composition of breast milk has so many benefits.
And I always hesitate to share that image because sometimes it can seem as though we're saying that formula isn't a good thing. I think the thing to take away from that image is that every drop of breast milk has amazing stuff in it. So regardless of what the composition of milk is, whether it's 90% formula and 10% breast milk, that 10% is still super important and has wonderful things that we get to provide. So all breast milk, every single drop matters.
I love that. And I think that's huge too, especially when I work with families and I think, I'm not producing enough, maybe I should just go strictly with formula. That there's no judgment in whatever somebody feels they need to do and their stress level. Obviously, we don't want this to be stressful, but like you said, even if a mom pumps a half an ounce and gives that in a bottle with formula, that's better than none at all. So thank you so much, Heather, for joining us and sharing that information. Where can people find you? Because as I mentioned, I know you're doing virtual classes. So I mean, anybody anywhere can jump in, as well as whenever the in-person comes into play. But again, how can everybody find you?
So our website is ababyplacebbb.com. So that's A Baby Place Birth, Breastfeeding, and Beyond. And we have a Facebook page. We've got a website. We'd love to answer any questions. We are basically offering a virtual prenatal class every month until we get to come back to teaching in person. And then we plan to resume teaching in person, but we may keep some of the virtual classes too, just because sometimes that does work better for families. But we miss seeing everybody's faces.
No, I agree. Well, thank you again. Thanks so much for joining us and for your expertise. And please stay tuned, as Heather and I will be doing some more little videos of hot topics and information that you can take away. But again, if you need to contact Heather personally for more information, please do not hesitate to reach out to her. So again, thank you so much for joining us all.